I'm Brett Banfi. I'm your host. We're here to bring you live game action of the conclusion, top eight, and the finals from the Weekend Open Series. We're going to jump right in. We have Zero and Yusin kicking this off. Let's join the action and catch up with them. All right, so we are jumping in at turn 3. Snowbeat comes down for Zero. We have Zero at the bottom of the screen. Has played a few greed cards, it looks like. 8 in hand, now 7. Speedy comes down, takes out business. This is the Weekend Open Series where every card in play is under 10 cents. The players playing yesterday 5 rounds of Swiss and making their way into this finals, this top 8. We are in the quarterfinals right now, following the action of Zero. This is a $500 Weekend Open event. Players competing not just for the $500, but also the top 8 tournament edition custom ChampionsTCG cards with the custom tournament frame border. Now Yusin, 5 in hand. Both players, Yusin at 60, Zero at 40. Icicle comes down, gets an attack in. That's lethal on Amy, the Greed Bird. Now comes Ladacia. Alright, what will Zero do? Zero is the bottom of the screen. He starts off with an attack by Speedy on Shadow Steel. Trigger that Retribution. Now 3 mana, and it's just a pillar and then a jelly. Wow, the Hydroblast on Icicle to take it out. That extra card advantage that he had built up early in the game coming in handy there as he's able to get the Icicle immediately off the battlefield. Yusin now draws, and this is turn 4. If you're Yusin, you have to feel like a little bit disheartened there. That was a very big turn that he had, and it just ended up coming to nothing when it all said and done. Just because of the power of that Bloom Blast combo that we've seen Zero running out and championing. The Zappy enters the battlefield. This is going to be another Bloom Blast. It will be the evolution with the bug and the Jello. Snowbeat comes down, trades with Jelly. Yusin drawing, I don't want to say drawing dead, but he is starting to put his back against the wall. Now Shock Claw comes down. That is another Bloom Blast. Again, if you're Yusin, you have to feel like this is starting to be an uphill climb. Dread Spike, wow. So part of the problem with these strategies, that Zero's deploying, it's really hard to 1-for-1 with every one of your opponent when all of your opponent's creatures kill one of yours. And that's what we're seeing. But then when you finally do manage to even the board out a little bit, you end up getting these situations where the Dread Spike comes out and is just so hard to deal with. Unless you're doing what Zero's doing with that Bloom Blast combo. That's one way to get rid of the Dread Spike. So we see the Munta take the Zappy out. Dread Spike takes the other Zap creature out. An attack for 8. Draconics comes down. Draconics, one of those 10 cent and under cards that mirrors what the Obsidiwing does, just not part of that evolution chain. Draconics takes out Electrosaur. Munta takes out Icicle. Now we're going to see an attack for 8. That's going to be a pass, but Yusin down to just the single card that he will be drawing off the top of the deck. And to that we add an Amy, a Dark Shell, and a Shadow Steel. The Dread Spike gets the attack in. This is lethal. And we are done. I believe that these are best of 5 games, so we're not sure exactly what game that was that those players were in right there. But we are just going to zoom in really quickly and show the players what the players are fighting for here. They are playing for these tournament edition custom cards. Here they are. Yeah. So this is the additional prize, and besides the $500, these are the winner will get a Solar Moo, the second and third place each getting a Glaciador, as well the rest of the top 8 getting that Thorner. Several of these cards selling right now on the Hand Cash Marketplace for a couple $100. We are going into Game 2. That was Game 1. 4-0 and Houston. And here we have Zappy on the board. 0 as it passes back. White Lily has been deployed by 0. Now Munta coming down. Then followed by Amy. So White Lily taking itself out. We've seen a lot of players doing this recently. This is, in this case for 0, it was just for the greed, but there is some argument for being able to do it for Fortify as well. The downside is that to keep it is helpful for Inferno, but this a little bit of a personal choice with players whether to do it or not. Business comes down 4-0. He is facing a very fast attack from Yusin. 0 all the way down to 51 already. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up. Now Yusin looking at his board. He sees the ability. He could get that business off the board. He attacks for 5. Then triggers Retribution. Zappy survives. Then an attack for 3. Then an evolution to the Electrosaur, so double zap. Great turn there by Yusin. Draws the additional card and then deploys Amy and the Bug. The Bug as a 4/5. We've seen the Bug doing a lot of work earlier in this round. Down comes the Pillar. That's for the Electrosaur. It'll be Bloom Blasted. Now passing back. Jello, the better of the blasters. It does blast as a 6/5. It turns Fangs turns it back into its brethren, the Jelly, a 4/3. Just an alt art Jelly. All right, there's the Bug, takes it out. So that was a good turn for Yusin, able to take the Zero's board out of commission, keep all his creatures. But unfortunately, business comes down on 7, turn 7 for 0, and then follows with a Munta. Munta gets an attack on the Spark main. The main important to deal with because it has that zap, so those zaps can start to add up, as we saw when they're strung together multiple in a row. Shock Claw comes down, then an attack by Fangs on the Munta. Now, does he want to take the business out? It looks like he does. Gets his attack in for 4. Now a pass back, 0. With 10 in hand. There's a Bloom Blast. Then Speedy. 0 really leaning in on that strategy. Down comes Ladacia. Then Speedy gets an attack on Jello. That's to put the cards into Ladasha range. And it will likely work. It triggers that Ladasha, that Retribution. But Zero still with 8 in hand. All the mana left. Dark Shell comes down. And then Draconics. So we've seen this early game. Zero stabilizes with the Bloom Blast combos. Gets a little bit of a card advantage engine on his opponent. Thunderpurr really good at getting the shield off the Dark Shell. We just saw that normally the Dark Shell can't be killed straight up by a Munta like that, but the Thunderpurr with the Zap ability does take the shield off. That is very interesting. Well played by Yusin there with 4 in hand, 3 on the board right now. Thunderpurr, Munta, and Shadow Steel. Double Draconics now. Draconics again, that wind-seeking common. 5 mana 7/6 with Windseeker. A great card. I don't think I've seen anyone playing with that card prior to this under 10-cent tournament. But that is really starting to get some play now. Munta attacked by Draconics. Now Thunderpurr with an attack on Zero. Then an evolution to the Sparkmane, an additional Thunderpurr. That could have taken out either one of the Draconics. He got a little bit unlucky there and just hit Zero. I guess he could have hit the Ice Eagle as well, so it wasn't too unlucky. But you see how these Zap cards are really starting to connect and add up. Yusin, typically a pretty quick player, so taking his time here, and it looks like it's Snowbeak, the reason why, and then followed by Ladasha. Maybe trying to consider if it's worth it just to go face there. I'm not sure what the thought would have been. The